Hey guys, so here is part 2 of my labor and delivery video. I'm actually working on some pumpkin videos right now, so I figured, oh, what the heck, I'm already standing here. And he's content, so I may as well get the video done, at least the second part of it. I've been asked a lot of questions about labor and delivery footage, and yes, there will be labor and delivery footage. I didn't actually have like a camcorder set up or anything like that, but I did have one of my girlfriends take some video with my camera, and then I do have I had a videographer here who is putting together a birth story type video, and I don't know if I'll be able to share that or not, but I'll share what I can. So, and then there was a photographer here, so I'll have lots and lots of pictures, and oh my gosh, I'm dying to see them. No rush to her, seriously, but I'm so excited to see them. I have one so far that she's sent me, and it was the moment that I first saw him, so he's all laid back. He's super chill. Oh. So, okay, I left off in part 1 telling you guys that my mom had just gotten here and my midwife had just gotten here, and everybody was here and everything was going good. So I talked to my mom about it yesterday, and I'm like, what all happened? And my midwife's apprentice, who wasn't here for the birth, came by yesterday to see me and to check in on Drake and whatnot. So I told her the story too, and I just feel like I forget so much, but it was so simple. So after the whole Walmart fiasco, we're home, we ate dinner, everybody started to arrive, the birth pool is being set up, and you gotta love newborns and all their grunts and their facial expressions. So my contractions were still coming every 3 to 4-ish, like 4-ish minutes apart. Once my midwife got here, we went upstairs and she checked me, and I was 4 to 5 centimeters apart. I was 80% effaced, and I believe at a 0 station. So, not crazy far along, but there was definitely some progress that had been made. So that was nice. I was hoping I'd hear like a 6 or something like that, just a little bit further, but it beats hearing like a 2 or something along those lines. So she checked me, and that was probably at like 9:20 or I'd probably say like 9:30, because she got here at 9:10. So she checked me, and we came back downstairs, and I was still having contractions, and I mean, everything was just super chill. It was just like I had a bunch of company over, and every couple of minutes I would just have to go have a moment to myself, and then go back to talking with everybody and laughing and helping fill up the birth pool. So the birth pool fiasco, while I was in, I want to say like earlier labor, so the first part of it was we drained our hot water heater here, gosh, now it was like a month ago, we washed our cars with it. So we cleaned out all the hot water out of our water heater so that we could just hook the hose straight up to our water heater and fill up the birth pool that way. Well, even though we cleaned out our water heater, there was still sediment in the birth pool, which I personally was like, I don't really care. But they insisted on emptying out the birth pool and refilling it. So they figured all the sediment would be out of the hot water heater, it'd be fine. So they started boiling some water, and it was so funny because my mom's like, you guys really do that? And just because it's kind of like an old midwife type thing. But they started boiling some hot water, and the hot water heater was cranked up as high as it could go, and they started filling up the birth pool again. There was more sediment, so they had to empty out the birth pool again. And yeah, I think it probably took them over an hour to get this dang thing set up. So they emptied out the birth pool and then decided to hook it up from the washer. So they pulled out the washing machine and just did the hookup from the washer. And it filled up fine. There wasn't sediment that time. So the birth pool was finally set up, which was great. And there was water boiling because we were kind of like out of hot water because the birth pool had been filled up. Not all the way, but twice now. Okay, anyhow, as far as my laboring went, I helped with them. I helped as I could. I helped. Deacon was here. Deacon was running around playing. I was playing with him. I just kind of was like hanging out, really. I labored on my birthing ball for a little while. It just kind of like bouncing, hanging out. It was just kind of like my chair. And then every once in a while I'd have a contraction. I'd kind of, you know, sway back and forth on the birthing ball and just, I don't even remember what I was looking at. I don't even know, but I was basically just hanging out on it for a little while. And I was texting Megan, and I was checking my consignment sales. I was, what else was I doing? I don't even remember. Just totally like hanging out. Mostly just playing with Deacon while I was on the birth ball. And then, the assistant came over and started timing my contractions. They were like 4 to 5-ish minutes apart, so they were spaced out a little bit. And it's like, what the heck? That's not cool. But it was okay because he came shortly after. But after that, I was up, and then I was laboring like on the back of, we have a kind of like a higher table, like a pub table kind of, and I would hold on to the backs of the chairs, and I would just sway back and forth, and I would just be looking down just like I was at Walmart and breathing through the contractions, and everything was going really good. I had to pee a lot, which is annoying, so I was running to the bathroom a lot to pee, but it wasn't a big deal. What else? Yeah, so I would just labor back and forth on the chairs, talk to everybody in between. Whenever I felt a contraction come on, I would leave like the living room, come to the dining room, and be on the backs of the chairs laboring. And finally they said, you know, you can get in the pool whenever. And my husband was super anxious for me to get in the pool for some reason. I think just because of all the headache that it was to get the dang thing blown up. He was like, are you ready to get in yet? Are you ready to get in yet? And I wanted to wait until I really like needed to get in. And finally I did. Finally there was a point where it was like, okay, I had 2 contractions that were really close together and that were really, really, really intense, and that were starting to be, I don't want to say uncomfortable because they're all uncomfortable, but really painful. That it was like, okay, things are changing, and I said right after that second contraction that was close together, I said, I'm ready to get in the pool. So I get in the pool at 11, and at this point I didn't really realize it, but I was in transition. So I got in the birth pool at 11, and I had my first contraction in the birth pool, and it was really, it wasn't as painful at all. It instantly took away a ton of the pain. And I said to my midwife, I said, is this normal? I mean, am I regressing now? Like, why does this feel so much better? And oh my gosh, can I just tell you, the water felt, oh, everybody needs a hot tub in their living room. It was amazing. So I, that first contraction was kind of, so my midwife, you know, in and out, they were listening to his heartbeat the whole time, and I think that was it. I don't think they were checking, they only checked my blood pressure and whatnot when they first got here. They might have checked it again throughout, I don't remember. But, yeah, I got in the pool, and at 11:10, okay, so the next contraction after that was intense again, and it was like, okay, they're working, I'm staying in the pool. They're real. My body just gave me a nice one, I guess. And then a contraction after that one, I felt a pop. And I said, my water just broke. But I was mid-contraction, so I didn't say another word. And instantly, like, everybody was like, at my side. And after that contraction was over, and I have this on video, I said, either my water just broke or my cervix just popped. So, I definitely knew my water broke. The next contraction, I could feel the water, like, coming out. So I knew, I'm like, okay, yeah, that was definitely my water. I had probably, like, another 2, maybe 3 contractions, and then I started to get the urge to push. So I'm going to continue on the delivery in part 3. So check out part 3, and that will be the delivery, and then after that will be afterbirth and everything kind of like immediately postpartum. So I will see you guys in a little bit. Bye.